Hey, how are you this week? Hello, Estelle.
Hi,
Great to
Joe.
be back with you, and I'm excited for today's chat. We're going to do a little bit differently today. Um, through a series we've been going now for like a year and navigating through these, challenging times which we've had in the past year. So we've evolved into all different areas to support you in achieving that. And so if you're here watching live, let us know and join in the conversation, because it's going to be a really powerful one, because I think like food and emotions sort of go hand in hand in a way. And when we feel stressed or pushed or, really squeezed, and we can tend to go down that path of eating unconsciously. Okay, and often it is unconscious. It's just a go-to thing. Some people go to alcohol, some people go to substance abuse, some people go to binging TV or whatever it might be. But today we're specifically going to talk about the foods and emotional eating in a way like that can help you, support you in understanding that a little bit deeper, a little bit more. And Estelle is an expert on this area. This is what she does. This is what she works with women particularly with, and helping them to overcome emotional and binge eating. And so I'm really excited to talk about that part of it. But I love also that Estelle has created a pathway, if you like, of characters that can actually help you determine where you fit on that scale of, emotional or binge eating. And I like to call them characters because they're fun. She makes it fun for you to identify this, and also and really, start to get conscious around your eating and how you're feeling and what to do instead of. Yeah, give you some tips and strategies that will help you move through understanding, like the understanding of what actually drives you to do that. So I'll let her tell you more about that. And so thank you this is a great topic. Thanks for coming on and talking about this, Estelle. And I can't wait to share it for my women in the group, because I think it's a really good conversation to open up for everybody. So let's start with what you call these characters and the food zombies. And I believe there's 6 or 7 food
There's
zombies.
there's 6 of them. There's probably more, but like the most general ones that I've come across during my own experience, and also my experience working with my clients. There's 6 different ways that our overeating shows up for us. So before we
ladies, you might like to, if you're watching, sorry Estelle, they might like to grab a pen and paper and just jot a few things down, which then you can, because I know for me it's difficult to remember everything, but jot little things down that will maybe help you identify that later. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, don't worry. So just before we start, just if you are watching this and you are struggling currently with some of these, let me know which one you identify with. We all can identify with some of these at some point. But, I think what's really nice is like we can all just through these characters, they are fun, but they also just help us to see things more in a rational and relational kind of way. So I came up with the food zombies a while ago, and the reason for that is because through my own experience with food and through the experiences of my clients, we've all felt that sense of this automatic eating pattern that happens when we're trying to be on a healthy path, and then all of a sudden you find yourself like almost watching yourself from the outside eating, and you want to stop but you just can't. It's like something has taken over your body. A lot of my clients have either referred to it as being possessed. Some have said they have demons. Some have said that they've got devils. Others have just felt like just something just takes over. Like it's just like not their body. They're not in their body when this uncontrollable eating happens. And for me, it always felt like I was uncontrollably eating, but without remorse. And that kind of made me feel like a zombie. Like I was zombieing through that box of pastries or donuts or whatever I had there was just no consequences or no feeling like while I was in it. It was like I'm numb. I could see myself doing it. I'm like in the back, I'm like, don't do it. But like there's nothing that's stopping me. So that's where the name foods
You're out of control. You're out of control and had no conscious like connection.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So let me know in the comments if you've ever felt that way. Have you ever felt out of control when it comes to food, or when you've leant in to eat one Tim Tam and then the next minute the whole package just gone? Some of my clients have severe cases where they wake up in the middle of the night and they've eaten a whole box of like bickies or lollies or whatever the case is. Look, those are severe cases, but like subconscious eating is a thing. Eating in your sleep is a thing. And look, those cases do come from the body trying to survive if you've been in extreme starvation in the body. That is not something that will happen to most normal. Like if you're just struggling with a bit of emotional eating or an occasional binge, you might not find yourself in the middle of the night just waking up and you've eaten a whole bunch of things. You might find yourself waking up and going to eat. So there's that difference as well. So so basically it just feels like something takes over in our bodies, and that's how I came up with the word zombie. And like then what I've noticed is that this zombie shows up in 6 different ways, or actually just 5 main ways, and then one is the opposite way of where we are in recovery. So I'll go through those, and what I'll do is I'll actually post my blog post link to my my recent podcast episode on this as well in the comments for anyone who wants to see the pictures of these zombies or read a little bit more on them. We'll definitely do that. So but let's dive into the zombies. Who's excited to know about the zombies? And you might be going, oh, this lady's so crazy. Like what is
I love the analogy of zombies. I just think it's so relatable because to me, working with the unconscious mind is absolutely, associated with being unconscious, because you don't know where you might go. Once you're in it, you might know, but often you don't know. And so these are things that you want to identify so that you can have awareness and then, change it when awareness creates that, right?
Yeah. So I do also have some resources on why this food zombie shows up in your life, and what triggers it. So those I'll put some links in the comments. But let's jump into these zombies because I know we don't have too much time.
No.
The first one I've dubbed Anxious Annie. Now, Anxious Annie is a stress eater. She kind of feels like life's okay, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, something throws her off course. She becomes overwhelmed, and then the next minute, like this food zombie just takes over. And she normally you'd find her being okay. She's like eating healthy during the week. And then all of a sudden she just feels like she's can't trust herself around sugar, because she doesn't always put the connection that she's craving sugar when she's stressed. So she thinks, just like in general, I need to cut out sugar out of my diet because I can't trust myself around sugar. And, she kind of thinks that something's wrong with her because she has these cravings, and like they just pop out of the blue. And I think we've all been Anxious Annie somewhere along the line. We've all probably reached for food somewhere along the line when we for comfort in the form of food when we were stressed. And that's not to say that you are going to become a binge eater. That's not to say that you have serious emotional eating issues. That might just be that you occasionally, once or twice a year, eat when you're anxious, and that's fine, But what I've picked up with my clients is Anxious Annie is probably sometimes the driver or the gateway zombie that starts building the habits of the subconscious eating later on. So look out for those patterns if you are eating and tending to eat more sugar when you are stressed, then you probably need to watch out for anxious Annie. So the next one is called Wagon Wonder. And Wagon Wonder is either on the diet wagon or she's off the diet wagon. So who here has ever self-sabotaged their diets? Yeah? Okay, I have many times. And Wagon Wonder is one of those that keeps self-sabotaging herself. She's the queen of self-sabotage. And the reason why that is she's trying to be so perfect on her diet. And the minute she has one small little thing, she just absolutely cracks it. And then she goes, oh, well, I've now eaten a cookie. I might as well just go crazy and then start again on Monday. So I start again on Monday is one of Wagon Wonder's favorite things to say. And I think we've all said that before as well. So I think we can all experience and have experienced Wagon Wonder as well. Let me know in the comments if you've never experienced Wagon Wonder. Actually, I would love to chat to you and find out how you got that right.
Do some research around that one.
And Wagon Wonder also comes from the diet industry forcing us to, it's been fashionable nowadays you read a diet book and one of the diet books will say, well, before you start your diet, go and buy all the binge food in the world so you don't feel deprived. Eat that on the Sundays till you're in a food coma. And then on Monday, you start afresh and you are clean,
Wow.
eat clean or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So many books have that, especially like the bodybuilding books, like those kind of things. They actually encourage that for some reason. A lot of diets also actually encourage a cheat day. And this is your day where you just go crazy, completely eat whatever you want. Now, Wagon Wonder, unfortunately, she's been so perfect. Then her cheat day is Saturday or Sunday. She goes off the hooks and then she really struggles to get back on track. And the more she, goes back to the perfect, the more she falls back into cheating, for blowing her diet or binging or whatever the case is. And the longer it takes for her to get back into healthy eating routines, and the more she feels like, she has no willpower, she starts attacking her own beliefs about herself, about not being able to achieve things, those kind of things. So she also just needs to find a little bit more of a balance when it comes to eating and not be so regimental. Because I would say self-sabotage or perfectionism is the second thing that I see with my clients. If it's not the anxiety, it's the extreme perfectionism that causes overeating and or binge episodes. And it's because they're trying to be so perfect and never eat, unhealthy foods. So let me know if you have any questions on that, Joe. Any questions from your side before we move on?
I'm just busy typing here. Yes, I think that what you're going through, people could probably identify with at some point in their life. I know I did. When I was younger, of course, I was that person who would get, eat the whole packet or whatever. Would you believe I grew up an obese child? So, there was a lot of healing for me to get myself back to a normality. So it's really interesting. I'm really enjoying what you're saying here. So please keep going.
Amazing. Okay. So next we have Late Night Lizzie. And Late Night Lizzie is fine during the day. And usually Late Night Lizzie finds herself either blowing her eating plan in the evenings when she gets home. Sometimes this can also start happening from about 3 o'clock onwards in the afternoon. So it's that afternoon slump, that afternoon eating kind of thing, or that afternoon that goes in from the afternoon all the way till midnight. She just cannot stop herself from eating in that time. And, mostly Late Night Lizzie is just, you know, she's so overwhelmed. Again, like, you know, there's overwhelm with work, but late night Lizzie is someone who doesn't really deal with her emotions. So for her in the evenings when she's alone, or when she's just like, you know, finally the day is over, her body needs energy because she hasn't done anything to allow herself some rest, mentally or physically, whatever the case is. And the overeating is that comfort from just like trying to actually relax. So late night Lizzie, you'll often hear her also, you know, eating mindlessly on the couch in front of the TV, and she's just not able to stop herself from that perspective. So yeah, like late night Lizzie is something that really affected me during my binge eating days, especially when my husband was away on business. So I'd be fine maybe the first or second night, but out of loneliness and not realizing this, I would turn to food in the evenings, and sugar especially, because that just kind of comforted me from that perspective. So late night Lizzie, usually the cases where that I see late night Lizzie being in is the extremely anxious, again, the people who are quite lonely, and the people who are bored, like, you know, they boredom, eat out of boredom. And yeah, so that's where late night Lizzie comes from. Next, we'll move into possessed Patsy. Possessed Patsy is this girl who just cannot stop thinking about food. And she wakes up in the morning regretting what she ate the night before and vowing that today is going to be a better day. And she just lists all the food that she's going to eat. So she's brushing her teeth, going through, making plans about what she's going to eat for the day. She runs through, I'm going to have this for breakfast, I'm going to have that for lunch, but then hang on, I'm going to skip my carbohydrate for lunch or I'm going to skip lunch altogether because I'm going out for dinner and I might have a glass of wine. And then, you know, as the day goes by, she's like, oh, I might have a glass of wine and maybe a dessert. So maybe I won't have lunch at all, or I won't have my snacks at all in the afternoon. You know, but she also,
isn't it? Yeah, that's exhausting.
By 10 o'clock, she's already seeing pastries just floating around her head. And like, I joke about this, but this is what I used to experience. I used to literally look up from my desk while I was working, and I'd see pastries like floating around my head and all the rest. So it can become like a problem. So you become obsessive, like thinking in just what food to eat and how to eat it and all the rest. So and that takes over your mind. So like, this is like most of my clients, when they come to me, this is like one of the number one things they want to get rid of, because they just cannot cope with these continuous food thoughts in their minds 100% of the time. They just feel like it's taken over. Like, one of my clients said to me, Estelle, I could have written a book. I could have, you know, achieved so much in my life, but this noise about food and food thoughts just take over my entire day. It's just, that's all I can think about. And I've just missed out on so much of my life because I'm just so like obsessively thinking about one thing and one thing only. So yeah, it's not a nice place to be in. Unfortunately, that is the reality of some people, you know. And again, this can come up lightly for some people. You know, if you're thinking, oh, what's for lunch? That's a different story. You know, if you're thinking, oh, what's for lunch? Oh yeah, okay, I'll have, you know, X, Y, and Z. And then you carry on with your day. That's okay. We'll never stop thinking about food, because food is one of our major sources. So obviously we're going to think about it. we will probably have cravings along the way. So that's not really having that possessed mindset. It's when you honestly have like slave to cravings and slave to just thoughts about what to eat and how to eat it and when to eat it and what not, those kind of things. And like you said, it is so exhausting and emotionally draining.
Mentally, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then last but not least, we have counting Cassie. Now, counting Cassie is not your typical food zombie. It might not be every single person might not experience this. This is more what I experienced, and this is where a lot of my clients come from as well, from another type of spectrum. And counting Cassie is also obsessively thinking about food, but she's thinking about obsessively eating healthy. So for her, she wants to eat pure and clean and calorie-free and toxin-free and gluten-free, dairy-free, all those kind of things all at once. She wants to be eating perfectly for her body. And sometimes what this actually causes is a condition like I had, which is orthorexia, where you obsessively, or you obsess about eating healthy all the time. And that is actually a genuine eating disorder or disordered way of eating. And because of that disordered thinking, there's a lot of food judgment that happens for herself, and there's a lot of judgment that happens on others. She's probably over-exercising. She's probably abusing other forms of laxatives, those kind of things. And mostly these type of people do come from, they could potentially have other eating disorders as well, such as anorexia or bulimia. Those kind of things could tie in with orthorexia or binge eating disorder. Like for myself, I had both at the same time. I was obsessing about being, healthy, and then if I wasn't obsessively being healthy, then I was binge eating, and that was the two patterns. And that's almost my wagon wonder. I wasn't just on a diet. I was obsessively eating clean and, whole, or whatever the case is. And, and then my opposite was binge eating. So, you are able to have a combination of these zombies. Some people have felt that they have actually resonated with every single one. Some people find that there's one specific one that stands out for them. So let us know in the comments which one stands out for you the most. Because there might be just one that really resonates with you today and really stands out for you. So those are the 5 food zombies that I see from the possessed kind of spectrum. Any questions on that, Jo, before I move on?
There was a few I was thinking as we were talking that they've left me, and I think we can ask them in the comments later. But I guess one thing would be is so if you identify with one or more of these, it's a really good first step. So not to guilt yourself out, punish yourself for being, one of these, but to actually, really congratulate yourself on recognizing it for a start, because maybe you weren't aware, but now that you've seen it, you can actually take steps to make those changes towards a more healthier way of being, a more healthier way of eating in the world. So I know that you're very gentle in your approach when you work with women around this, and the guilt thing, I think, is probably one of the biggest that we I know even in my work is, as a mother, as a woman, we guilt about everything, and that's just another layer. The eating thing, right? So we need to be really gentle and kind with ourselves, right? To overcome it. So not like, oh my God, I've identified with, that's just beating yourself up. So really going, wow, yeah, that's what's going on. Be that have that curiosity about it, and approach it in a fun way in the overcoming of it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So this is not to beat yourself up about feeling or being in any of these behavioral patterns. This is just for you to kind of understand and identify whether you possibly need some help to get out of this, or, you know, maybe you've just realized, oh my gosh, I have a pattern. And, you know, it's like you said, like once we shine a light on it, that's when we can help ourselves out of any situation. So, yeah, I love that. Thanks, Jo.
Definitely. And I really, I'm urging anyone that if you do identify, and if you are, you know, ready to move past it, just reach out to Estelle, because she's obviously an expert in this area. I find in my own work, it's almost like a side effect of working on yourself, working with the unconscious to identify these patterns of behavior. Then, you know, you can heal from that place as well. But specifically on eating, I know that Estelle can help you there. So definitely, and I know she's got loads of free stuff happening, podcasts and all sorts of things around it. So please, follow Estelle so that you can stay on your journey of healing with this, and live well, what's normal? Nothing's really normal in our own quirky way, but just live in calm, live in peace with yourself. So that's fantastic. If anyone has any questions, absolutely write them in the comments, and we will. Estelle's is in the group or in the page, so she'll come back and answer anything you have. Estelle put some links in there for where you can find her, and Jess, I love the fact that you present this in such a fun way. It's so beautiful. So what's next? What's happening for you? Or did you have something else to share? I was just mindful of the time.
No, I think I'm mindful of the time, but the last one is just more of a recovery zombie, but I'll put her, you guys can read about her in the comments. That's basically, once we are free of those zombies. Her name is Recovery Roxy.
I love that. I'm going to just put it here for you so we remember to look at that one. Roxy, I think she's a really, snip.
Yeah. If you see her, like the character, like I picked for her, she's this girl with like a backpack and she's got her glasses on and she's just like savvy. So
I love it. I got a girlfriend called Roxy, so I'll let her know about Roxy. Awesome. So what's happening for you?
Well, I obviously just have a new podcast episode out this week. I can't even remember the title of that one, but I'll pop that in the link below. Other than that, I don't really have any events coming up. Like there will be a webinar, but that'll only be announced towards the end of this month. I do have a free guide called Quit Binge Eating for Good. So I might just pop that in the comments if anyone wants that. You're welcome to just download that. And then I'll also pop the podcast episode with all the images of the food zombies in the comments as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been so insightful and fun as usual this week. Estelle will be around if you have any questions, anyone. And awesome. Thank you so much, Estelle. Loving it.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful week,
You were so
everybody.
welcome.
Yeah, have a beautiful week, everybody. We'll see you next week. We might continue on this journey of, that side of things and what you go to, what your thing is. If it's not food, what is it for you that you go to that doesn't serve you in a way that could possibly empower you? So stay tuned, same time next week is in Estelle's group, but we'll put the link up for you to connect. So have a beautiful week, everyone, and thank you, Estelle.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye for now.